Hi, welcome to Financial Education for the Nation. My name's Warren Shute, and I'm here with Paul today. And I think we're going to do a 90-day check-in. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So, unbelievably, we're 6 months into the year. So, the second 90-day check-in of the year, according to the plan. So, let's just recap kind of the schedule, if you like, on the money plan. And we have a series of goals, right?
Yeah, that's right. So the outcome behind all of this is to live a life by intention, on purpose, rather than just drifting through life. Okay, so we've got a reason for why we get up and what we want to achieve. And I was particularly reminded by this when I met a old college friend this week in the office. He came in to see me, and I realized it was 25 years had passed since we were studying for our A-levels together, and his mum used to make us some amazing food. So when I looked at that, I thought, wow, 25 years. And now my brain automatically then says, where will I be in 25 years? So I'm always looking forward in the future. So I was like adding 25 years of my life, thinking, wow. So precious time is slipping away, all right? And life isn't a continuum. We've all got an end date. So the reason behind doing this is live life by design, not by default. So let's live it intentionally. So we say, okay, this is what I want my life to look like. That's where I want to be in 10 years, 5 years, 3 years. And then we look at a year, and that's when we get super serious and say, okay, where am I going to be in 12 months' time? And even a year's a long time. So we've all probably been at New Year's resolution time. They're singing Auld Lang Syne, saying, okay, this year I'm going to change my job, get a new partner, lose some weight. They're typically the ones that we all say. You know, if you're listening to this at home, you'll have your own ones that you say every year. But then we forget what we set, probably by the morning a lot of the time. But certainly by February comes, Valentine's Day's here, and what was New Year? What was that about? So the 90-day check-ins are about having a rechecking your life and say, okay, am I on track for my year goal? Am I in the first check-in? Am I a quarter way there? Now, am I halfway there? We're halfway through the year. So
okay, so is that how we should be looking at it then? Is it okay, I wanted to do this in the first 12 months, so I need to be halfway there. I wanted to save this much into my emergency reserve. Have I got 50% of it, or do I need to adjust?
Yeah.
How scientific is it?
Yeah, basically, if you've never done any financial planning or any financial arrangement before, this stuff can be a bit overwhelming. There's so much to do. Hang on, Warren's telling me to sort out my bank account, sort out some pocket money systems for my kids, put some life insurance in place, my wills, power of attorneys. Oh, it's too much. And I agree. I completely agree. It's too much. It's too much to do in one period of time, but it's not enough to do. It's not too much to do over a course of a year or 2 years or 3 years. So the money plan is a plan for life. It's not a plan for a week or a weekend. Get it done, ticket, it's done. You don't get fit by going to the gym once. You get fit by going to the gym regularly over time. And if you miss a gym session, you don't get unfit. Does that kind of make sense? So be kind to yourself, give yourself a break, and just say, hey, let's plan this stuff over a course of a time. But let's hold ourselves accountable. Let's not be too sloppy. Let's say if we're going to do something, let's make sure we do it. Honoring self-promises is the best way to build self-confidence and happiness. You know, when you set yourself a goal, when you put pen to paper and say, or touch the keypad and say, I'm going to do this by this date, and you put your focus and your attention on it, and then you achieve it, you feel good inside. You feel good. You feel, you grow an inch. And you do that consistently, quarter on quarter throughout the year on year throughout your life. That's how you build your life by design, not by default. That's the compelling vision.
Okay, great. So I know in when we were looking at the first 90 days, we looked at emergency cash, for example. And I know you're a big advocate, right? Everybody just do whatever you can to get £1,000 initially, just saved up so you've got something there for emergencies. And then looking ahead, we were saying now it's time to try and build that. And you recommend 3 to 12 months of your expenditure as a reserve.
That's right. Yeah. So I think it's almost like starters orders, get ready, set, go, get £1,000 saved. Okay. And I like premium bonds. I was looking at my Facebook feed this week, and I noticed someone's on there said, "Yay, done it! I've got my £1,000. I've set up my premium bond account. I put some money in there." So it's a nice achievement to say you've done that. It's a win. We're trying to get ourselves wins. Pat ourselves on the back. Too many people are too easy to say that we do things wrong in life. We're trying to give ourselves some praise and say, "Well done."
Yeah,
So
okay. Just briefly, why premium bonds?
I like them. That's it, really. If I'm completely honest, the reason I like premium bonds is I try to protect you from yourself. Now, if we run the maths, if we do the logic, okay, you'll be better off putting the money into a higher rate interest savings account. But it's not an investment. It's a protection. It's an insurance in case something goes wrong. And if I can push that money a little bit further out of your arm's reach, and if I can say to you it's backed by the British government, and you might get a big win, it's a small might, albeit, but you might get a big win, I think that's the best thing to it. It's all psychology. It's all about, look, you're not going to get rich on your premium bonds. You're not going to get rich on your emergency reserve, but let's do things to keep out of arm's reach, make sure it's safe and sound. And actually, there's a bit of upside there. You might win. It's a bit of fun.
Okay, and just cover how they work, because I've got to say I don't know how they work. You talk
Okay.
about out of arm's reach, so the money's set aside for a while.
Yeah, okay, so great question. So you go on to nsandI.com. We can put a link in the show notes. And you click on Open Premium Bond Account. And the security on the premium bonds is quite tight. So the process is a little bit more in depth than you'd normally expect. But once they're open, you can deposit some money with them. And if you deposit, say, £1,000 with them, £1,000 will always be there. Then every draw, your points go into the draw, and you come out and you got the chance of winning £25 up to £1 million. And I think there's 2 draws of £1 million a month now. So the probability of you winning a big prize is so small. I wouldn't do it for that reason. I don't say hold premium for that reason, but I'd say hold premium bonds because they're backed by the UK government. If you ever want your money back, just go online, transfer the money back, and it's back in your account within a few days. And you get back the amount you invested. So you put £1,000 in, you can pull back £1,000, or say £500 in 2 lots.
Okay, great.
You're never going to lose your money. Other than inflation, obviously, but this is an insurance. This isn't an investment.
Yeah, okay. And that kind of brings us on to foundations, where kind of 6 months into the year, we should now be, hopefully, if all's going well, starting to look at those foundations that you talk about. And just briefly, just cover what they are.
Okay, so there are 8 foundations, but 7 up there. There's 8 foundations. 3 are essential, okay, which I think everyone who's listening to this, if you're over 18, should have in place. The first one we just touched on was emergency cash. So emergency cash, we need between, if you've got unsecured debt, credit cards and loans, £1,000. And then focus every other single bit of money you've got on your debt. If you've cleared your debt or you don't have any unsecured debt, then you need between 3 and 12 months of your expenditure in cash in a premium bond account. 3 to 12 months is a big gap. 3 months if you've got a secure guaranteed income. 12 months if your income's a bit variable, you've got lots of people relying on that wage coming every month. So you need to make the call. If you can't decide, go in the middle, go 6 months. So that's the first one. The second one is a will. Everyone should have a will. And if you've got children, you must get a will. I'd go as far as saying you're being negligent if you don't have a will. Okay, get a will. Make sure you've got guardians in the will. That will look after your children. If you and your partner were to decease, there's someone there in writing legally to care for your children. Then the third essential one is lasting power of attorneys. A lasting power of attorney is basically a protection for you. You appoint someone during your lifetime now. So if you lose capacity, if you're unable to make decisions on your own behalf, that person can step in and help you out. There's 2 types, financial and health. Property and affairs is the financial one. They can open your bank account, take some money out, pay for some bills for you. They can draw on your pension. So if you're in drawdown, you don't have a power of attorney, this is an absolute must. You must get a power of attorney. And the health one means they can talk to social services and the NHS and have some say, as if it, on your behalf, into your healthcare.
Okay, so those are the essentials, and then just very briefly, the 5 optionals.
Life cover, income protection, critical illness, medical insurance, and general insurance, in that order. Life cover, debts, insure your income if you've got dependent children. There's 2 bits there. Disability or income protection. So if your boss pays you sick pay for 6 months and then it stops, really you need a longer term sick pay insurance. You need to make sure that's covered. Critical illness, okay, you can consider that. Sometimes it can be a bit expensive, so you may not want it, but let's at least say we've considered it. Medical insurance, we've got a brilliant NHS system, but a lot of my clients say actually they'd rather have some private cover and just make sure they've got a bit of extra peace of mind. And the last one is general insurance. Make sure you've got your property insured, your contents insured, and making sure you've got the premiums down as low as possible.
Okay, all right. So that's the financial foundations of the kind of 90-day check-in, the second 90-day check-in of the year. What about debt? What should we be thinking about there? Should we be hopefully on course of having a plan of action for dealing with that?
Yeah, I think by this stage, you should have had the debt put into the snowball calculator, which you can download from the website. And we've actually just recently updated it as well. So it looks a little bit nicer. It's got a few more features on it. So on warrenshute.com, there's a snowball calculator. You can put all your debt in there. You should be ringing up and getting balances again. Okay, so since the beginning of the year, you've been paying down your balance. You need to ring up. You need to ring up and get your balance. Make sure you've maintained your payments and actually renegotiate your interest rate. We've had a few people renegotiate interest rates and say, hey, look, I can get this interest rate from another lender. Can you match it or can you reduce it? Now, sometimes they just give you a flat blank, no, we can't do it. But we have had people turn around and say, yeah, we've had an interest rate reduction.
Okay, fantastic. And I guess back to the psychology that we touched on earlier. How much should we be, if we started out in January and we're now looking to be halfway towards our year one goals, how much should we be berating ourselves if we're not quite where we'd hope to be? Because life is tough and there's a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah, look, hey, do you know what? Life can be tough. Life can be tough. And do you know what? Sometimes we just have a tough period of time. But the outcome is not to focus on where we've been, it's where we're going. Okay, so the outcome is to say, okay, where am I now? I wanted to have half my emergency reserve saved. I've only got 25% of it saved. Okay, so be it. What would need to happen for me to play catch up and make sure that was met by the end of the year? Can I do it? Is it realistic? Now, don't stretch yourself too far. Don't set unrealistic goals. It's going to take you more than a year to do it. It's going to take you more than a year to do it. But just set yourself goals from where you are today. There's no point saying, well, I should have done that, so I'm going to catch up that and do the new stuff. If that's not realistic, then you can't do it. But, excuse me. So you really just need to reassess where you are now and be kind to yourself. Okay. Hey, being consciously aware and being financially organized where you are now is probably a million miles away from where you were previously. Okay, so just having everything organized, knowing where you are, you should congratulate yourself for it. Having goals, having a compelling vision, checking in for the second time in a year, well done, pat on the back. So you're doing great things. You're moving in the right directions. And if you stop doing it, you're going to go back to where you were. If you carry on doing it, you're going to go closer to where you want to be. Okay, so just keep on the program, keep doing it, and be kind to yourself.
Excellent. Okay, so find that balance between having the discipline to do something, but celebrate the wins, right? You've got to celebrate the little wins.
Absolutely. It's all little wins. Celebrate every single little win. The fact that you're even listening to this video, maybe a year ago, you weren't even listening to it. So you've made progress. And progress in life isn't linear. Okay, progress in life is never linear. You never go up in a straight line. Progress is often exponential. Okay, and the reason for that is because you develop quicker as you learn more. So as your skill set, as your mindset understands finance and money more, well, actually you make decisions based on your new frame of reference, and you grow and grow and grow quicker and more exponentially. Just like investing. Investing in the early stages, slow, and as compounding interest takes effect, it just skyrockets.
Okay, great. And then I think then let's finish up with looking ahead. And you've talked a lot already. Kind of always be looking ahead, always be moving towards something, and not dwelling too much on the past, just being aware of it. Is there anything specific that we should be looking out for over the coming 90 days when we'll do another review in September?
Sure. I think you want to ask yourself the question: if we were having this conversation 3 months or 90 days from today, what needs to happen in your life over those 90 days in order for you to feel happy with your progress, both personally and financially, and maybe in your relationships? So by asking yourself that question, what needs to happen over the next 90 days in order for you to feel happy with your finances, your personal life, and your relationships? And when you ask that yourself, because you're going to get an answer, write those things down. That's your next 90-day check-in. Well, you might be happy if you've got an extra £500 saved. You might be happy if you've actually finally gone and joined or increased your pension contributions to your workplace pension, or you've sorted out a pension. Okay. And you might be happy if you've taken your wife or your husband or significant other out on a date. Okay, so these check-ins are not just financial. This is a lifestyle plan, and I want you to start thinking a bit more about what needs to happen for me to be more happy, more fulfilled with life. Life's short. Certainly when I've started getting into my 40s and I've noticed that people pass away, and you realize how precious life is, and time slips past. So let's make the most of it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, rather than end on that, let's go back to your 25th anniversary that you were talking about earlier, and look forward to the next 25.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Let's look forward to the next 25 years. It's the future's bright. It's exciting. There's lots of things going on with technology and the advancements of what's happening there. There's plenty of growth in the stock market. The economy's booming. We're only scraping the surface of the emerging markets, and there's lots and lots of opportunities out there.
Great. Thank you very much.
Great. Good speech, Paul. Take care.
Bye.